We live in a beautiful province, don't we? There's so many amazing areas and so many different landscapes and so many different features to our landscape in British Columbia, and many, many beautiful plants. The fun thing is to try to bring some of those beautiful plants into our garden plantings. I want to show you how you can do that today, create a beautiful native planter, and also give you examples of some of the plants that work best in garden settings. With so many beautiful native plants to choose from, how do you make choices that you know are going to be good for the garden? Well, there's some things like, I just wanted to show you Thimbleberry, and you might not even make that out, but you'll know Thimbleberry from the forest. It's a pretty unruly plant, and so not a great choice for your garden, but there are other plants, and I just want to talk about just a few of them to give you some inspiration and a little bit of information. So obviously ferns are, this is a western sword fern, and Maidenhair Fern, and there's also deer fern. Those are three great ferns that have really handsome habits. Evergreen foliage on the deer fern and the western sword fern, and the native or the Maidenhair Fern dies back to the ground in the winter. So those are great and great in the shade. I wanted to talk about something people don't talk about very much. I'll bring it up. This is a mountain hemlock. We've got a couple different hemlocks that are native to British Columbia. The western hemlock and the mountain hemlock are the two. There's also Canadian hemlock, but you don't see that much. This mountain hemlock is a slow grower, really dense, dark blue foliage on it. Really, really a fun choice to use in the garden, and very popular with conifer aficionados. There's also a few deciduous plants and little shrubs that are very, very good garden plants as well as native. And some that, I don't know, they just don't seem to be as effective for whatever reason, whether it's just because they don't have enough season of interest. So Spirea Douglasii over behind my shoulder is one that I wouldn't normally see using in a garden, but you could. So better and way more fun would be this, I've got it here over on the left, it's the a Snowberry. This is actually a cultivar that's got sort of pink berries, I think, but most snowberries have the white berries on them, and they have flowers at this time of year that turn to berries. This one's already got a lot of berries forming, and quite a beautiful shrub. And you'll notice the white berries in the middle of winter, and so that's what makes them so impressive, is that they last well into winter. And then on the sort of evergreen side, there's the Evergreen Huckleberry. You know, there's also the deciduous huckleberry that loses its leaves but has the lovely tangy berries on it. Evergreen Huckleberry has blackberries, white bell-shaped flowers in the spring, and great evergreen foliage with nice bright red new growth. So I really like that one. I've got another one here, way up here, and this is the Oregon Grape. So Oregon Grape is a broadleaf evergreen that has real variability in how much it grows. Bright yellow flower clusters in the spring, and then it's got blueberries in the summer that you can use for jellies. They're edible, but they're not lovely. A little bit sort of mealy in that, but they make great jelly, and you can use them as sauces as well. Fantastic with salmon. All right, so that's another one. A few other really great plants that are really garden worthy would be, I wanted to show you a couple perennials, but first, this broadleaf evergreen. This is Wintergreen, and there's also a Salal. They're both Gaultheria. Wintergreen is native more to the eastern part of North America, with wintergreen smelling and flavored red fruits, but a low-growing broadleaf evergreen. It's really quite a nice plant. These are popular at Christmas because of the red berries. And then in the sort of the perennials, there's lots and lots of perennials, things like Western Columbine and Pacific Bleeding Heart or Western Bleeding Heart. But a couple things that are looking good right now and are very garden worthy. We use them a lot, and there's many cultivars, but the Thrift or Sea Thrift or Sea Pinks, it's Armeria maritima, and has pink flowers on it most of the spring and summer, and just a little tuft of green. And of course there's got to be cultivars of that, like there's one called, I think it's called Nifty Thrifty, and that's got variegated foliage. This is an alpine plant, sedum divergens, so it grows at much higher elevations in British Columbia, and there's a lot of choices for that. But this one's really great, and we can use it right on the coast or in the Okanagan in a rock garden type of setting, well-drained soil, bright, full sun, and it'll do really well. So that's a few of my favorites. Now, just wanted to plant up a oak barrel with a bunch of these wonderful plants. I have this half oak barrel that I wanted to plant up. It's aged and it looks great. When you're planting a half oak barrel, they're all about the same size. Make sure that you drill holes in the bottom. You really need good drainage. I drilled more than half a dozen holes in the bottom of this long ago, and works really well. And the other thing is, when you fill it with soil, probably the question, how much soil do I actually need? About 150 liters for one of these. So that gives you a good idea how much. Three of the 52-liter bags, or you might have whatever the math is on a 20-liter bag, something like 8 of those, do you really well. Well, I think that turned out pretty well. I just really love trying to create a garden that has plants that are native to BC. There's so many to choose from. Really encourage you to do the same thing. Really enjoy and celebrate all the beauty that's around us. If you enjoyed this, take a look at the link below to follow us on YouTube, and we'll see you again. Thank you.